Let's say that you are one of those people who can use breach data. I have some paid services and a kind of free service for you. If we head over to intelx.io, I can just paste in johndoe@example.com and it shows me a bunch of redacted information. If I pay them money, then I get access to all of this data with the black lines. I'm an osint person, so I know that I always scroll down the page because, when there's redacted data, there many times will be unredacted data as well. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for any place here that does not have, here we go. We have collection 1, and you see that this is not redacted. Clicking on the link, pasting in my johndoe@example.com shows me that in this collection 1 of old cloud gaming combos, the password associated with John Doe account was the most popular password in the world. 123456.
A lot of people who watch my videos say, I'm never going to use such a dumb password. No one's going to use passwords like that. But we both know, Micah, that people do.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes people are just doing this as throwaway accounts. It's just like, hey, I'm just want to access that Angry Birds thing, and it makes me sign up for an account. So I'm going to use johndoe@example.com, 123456. I don't care if somebody hijacks that account. That's what we might be seeing here. In our case, we would search and continue to go through these records and see what else came back. Here, I would note johndoe@example.com is associated with this password, and then continue scrolling down this list and looking at other places.
Is it worth paying for this?
For me, David, I like the data on IntelX. I find that the dhash.com site, which is our next site, here you can pay by the day, by the week, or by the year, and it's a lot more affordable to buy the data here. And again, that's what we're doing, is we're buying the data from somebody else. They've collected it, made it searchable, they've indexed it, and all we're doing is using it like a search engine. One of the things that we always try to do is we do forward searches for things. We take a data point and then we do a search for that as well and see what else comes back. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to do Obama@whitehouse.gov. So Obama@whitehouse.gov email, valid email, or at least it might have been years ago. And we can see a whole bunch of breaches or breach data that it was in. And if we click on one of these, what we see over here is any data that's associated with it. Here we can see that here the password for this one in the mmorg.net was right here's that password. I'm hoping that it's been changed since then, but you never know. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a certain breach because I want to show you something really cool. So what I've done is I've searched for Obama@whitehouse.gov, and on page 4 or 5 or so, I found this one for Dropbox data. And you can see that here we have the email, it was in this dump, and I've got a hashed password. Now, as an osint person, the easiest way for me to check what this password is, it's hashed. It's a one-way cryptographic function. I can't reverse it. I can't decrypt it. But what I can do is go to my password cracking rig. Well, at least if you're an osint person, this is my password cracking rig. And I put in the hash here in Google. And I see that nowhere else on the internet, none of the billions of websites have ever had this hash on their site. What this tells me is that this is probably a pretty strong or complicated password, because regular passwords like password and 123456, you'll see their password hashes up here. So here's what we've got. We've got a breach for Dropbox where somebody used this really strong password. Well, what if we could take this really strong password, paste it into the search field, and find other accounts that also use that really strong password that was hashed? And if you look here, Dropbox, Dropbox, Dropbox. So this is all probably from the same site. And we see that Polgar_Gino used that same password. We see Bruce Willis at Hollywood use the same password. Would it surprise you to know that Paris Hilton at Hilton.com used the same password? Come on, Bruce Willis, Obama, and Paris Hilton all use the same really strong password. So what we've probably done by doing that forward and reverse search, we've found somebody or some people that have used a very strong password on Dropbox and just signed up with random email addresses. They probably signed up for a free account with lastname@mail.com. I mean, come on, try at least, right? And then they pasted in their really strong password. Then they filled up that space, and then they signed up with Paris Hilton at Hilton.com. Use that really strong password. Never thinking that one day there's going to be a breach and that password or hashed password would be released. This kind of is my message to your audience. If you want to be secure, you got to plan for defeat. You got to plan for failure, and you got to plan for the fact that one day that super strong password that you use on every website is going to be released. And when it does, you better hope that it's only good on one website. So get a password manager. Use LastPass or KeePass XC or some other password manager. Use really strong passwords, but make them unique to every single website you use. So when Dropbox has a breach and your password is released, no attacker can use these techniques that I've shown you, which they use, grab your password and then log into your Facebook and your Twitter and your YouTube and take over your accounts. Because if that password is only used on one site, you've limited them.